60 seconds, one story. Happy Australia Day, everybody. I want to throw it out there to all the Aussies. Happy Survival Day, Happy Invasion Day, or Sad Invasion Day. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, that is cool. I want to make a few points in a little story before I do. I get really confused around this time. I don't remember us being that patriotic towards Australia Day. I'm not sure. I think around Cronulla, I didn't even equate the Australian flag with anything other than those thugs that tried to beat up the wogs on the beach because they were angry that they didn't respect them when they would go to the beach, whatever that was about. I remember that. I kind of wanted to leave the country, actually. I thought this is not the place I want to raise my children. Frankly, I didn't have the means, otherwise, I probably would have. But I digress. I just want to tell a little story about someone named Benelong. Okay, someone named Benelong. Now, Benelong, about 17, I think, as 89 or 90, was kidnapped by the governor. And the reason that he was kidnapped was there was a lot of tension between the local indigenous group and the settlement. The settlement was 900 strong, so quite an invasion, that one. There's reports of a few times that there was altercations with a group of warriors, and there was a couple of hundred of them. So they could easily have wiped out the settlement if they wanted to, very, very easily. They would have wiped the floor with them if they wanted to. Now, who was Benelong ended up being something of an ambassador. He went to London. He wore that clothes. He was also a warrior, and he would constantly use his relationship with the governor, which was very close, to get the governor to do missions against his enemies and different groups. I think that's brilliant. Real cheeky stuff there. Now, what really pains me about our country is how poorly educated we are when it comes to politics and when it comes to history. And it's sad because all the documents are there, the books are there, you can read them, but nobody wants to read. They just want to have opinions. That's the black, white, brown, brindle. Everybody is like that. Was it an invasion? That's a matter of semantics. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what the semantics mean because it ended up as one. Was it a survival day? Yes. But we're missing a big story here. When we talk about civilization, and you're seeing this sort of weird debate going on, and, you know, frankly, a very racist debate that goes on. And they talk a lot about civilization. But what is civilization? So if you talk about School of Athens, and the supposed pinnacle of thought at that time in ancient Greece, and justice was a huge thing. What's the just man is the good man, the justice, the concept of justice. And one of the precious things from that we can glean from the records of the settlement, there's a lot of journals, primary records, this and that, is that the indigenous people had a profound sense of justice, of right and wrong, of reciprocity. They weren't the type to go and kill as many people as they could. And even by Governor Phillips' own words, when guys were getting killed, going out and getting killed, they knew that it was a provocation. They did something to deserve that because their view was these people are not, wild and savages that are just going to kill. They're very measured in what they do. So you had people stealing things. You had people stealing women. You had people doing all sorts of horrible shit, taking shots at, and they'd find themselves killed. And I'll tell you a little story about a guy named McIntyre, which did cause a bit of a battle, and he was the huntsman. Okay, so huntsman's job is to go around hunting, killing animals, bringing them back for food, leathers and whatever else. So he was out doing that, and it was well known that he was also trying to kill Aboriginal people, so shooting at them as well. And then Pemulwuy, and people might know that name, some will call him a Godicha man or lawman, something like this, witchy man, magic man, definitely a beast. And I should be very careful there, in a good way, like beast, big guy. he'd had enough of McIntyre. Now, McIntyre's very close with the governor, right? But Pimoy had enough, and he produced a death spear, which is this kind of, you can read about the details of them, pretty full on. They're designed to break off inside you. You're going to die from it. Ceremonial, and he ended his life. He attacked him, speared him, ended his life after a time, infections and this and that, and that sparked a bit of a battle, definitely. Now it seems that there's been a lot of support for him anyway, definitely from the MacArthur's and others. They're very supportive of his people, and not so supportive of the governor, right? So, there's always this bit of tension there. There's stuff that people just don't know. So why did I bring that story up? I want, those people, and although they did do farm raids later and all the rest of it, that was during the Hawkesbury and all the crap that was happening up there, and retaliations to that. But what I'm trying to get at is this: what we're not appreciating is the culture and the laws, I'm say LAWS, of those people, and the way they interpreted justice to them was very, very civilized. Was more civilized than British justice. British justice was not civilized. There's multiple stories where somebody grabs tackle, steals tackle, and they whip the crap out of him in front of the women who owned it, and they weren't happy. They didn't see that as a just response. So we need to sort of, hopefully, by the time I shuffle off the mortal coil, this country comes to an understanding of itself. I think we're always going to have racist people, and we're always going to have agitators that just want to burn the flags, and we're just always going to have that. And I think the more we need to do is actually resolve this issue at the government level and start educating our youth properly. Not like most people don't even know these names that I've mentioned. They're great histories. They're great histories. They're amongst the most interesting histories out there. The clash of an old civilization that survived so many calamities that almost ended the world, and they're still there. And then a new civilization, British, who taking over the world and establishing the first, really Spanish to them or whatever, but first of the global hegemonies, which we live under today, which is the American one. And that clash, you see the souls of men and women, you know. To go to the romantic idea, you got people that'll sell their soul just for a bit of gold, and then you've got other people that do not take advantage of their situation. And the final thought I'll have: so I don't like the whole survival day, invasion day. That's why it's not for me. But at any moment, that settlement of 900 people could have been killed, burnt out, starved out. The indigenous people knew they were relying on corn. They didn't damage those stores. They didn't try to kill them like that. They could have genocided them if they wanted to, but they didn't, because that, to them, they had this. From my understanding of the readings I've done, they had a connection, a spiritual connection, and a view of the world that precluded them from doing that. Also, some of them felt that these might be reincarnated spirits from their ancestors coming into these bodies, as that sort of view. So they didn't look at the world like the way the British, the Spanish, the Germans, the Americans look at the world, which is kill everything, take it before they kill you. They didn't see the world that way. And I wonder whether the protesters are really in tune with that sort of thing, or they're acting more like British people act, screaming and want to take. Anyway, happy Australia Day.